Have you ever looked at a clock and realized your entire life was ticking away? Tick, tick, tick. Each second passes never to return. We rarely stop to hear it, but it's always there. Constant, unforgiving, honest. This is the story of a man named Marcus. On paper, he had it all: money, power, influence. A six-figure salary, a luxury apartment high above the city, and the kind of respect that most people work decades to earn. But one day, that illusion began to crack. And it all started with a package. There was nothing remarkable about the box, just brown wrapping and his name scrawled neatly on the top. No return address, no sender. Inside was an old brass clock, slightly tarnished, heavy, quiet. Until it wasn't. Etched into the back were 5 words that refused to leave his mind. "Your time is running out." He laughed at first. Some strange prank, maybe. He set the clock on his mantle and forgot about it. At least, he tried to. But from that moment on, something changed. The ticking grew louder, or maybe his awareness of it did. It filled the silence. It followed him from room to room, as if echoing a truth he had long ignored. And slowly, it began to wake him up. He started noticing things that had never struck him before. His mornings rushed. His nights empty. He was always on, always reachable, always working, but rarely present. His life was packed but hollow. Achievements lined his resume, yet meaning eluded him. One night, he sat in silence, staring at the ticking clock. A memory surfaced him as a boy, barefoot in the grass, building tree forts with his childhood friend. No phones, no pressure, just freedom, just laughter. He whispered into the quiet, "When did I stop living like that?" Days later, he saw 3 missed calls from his father. They hadn't spoken in weeks. "I'll call him tomorrow," he told himself. But that tomorrow never came. The next morning, his father died in his sleep. The weight of regret hit harder than anything his job had ever thrown at him. Not because he didn't love his father, but because he had waited. And suddenly, the ticking of that clock became unbearable. Not scary, but sobering. He took the day off work for the first time in years. Not to relax, but to reflect. He sat with a calendar and circled the days from the past year that he could truly say he lived. Days where he laughed deeply, felt joy, took risks, was real. He counted 7. 7 out of 365. Something inside him broke. Or maybe, finally, something broke open. He pulled out his old bucket list. It was full of things like buy a Tesla, get promoted to VP, upgrade the kitchen. But now those goals felt empty, detached, not him. Just noise he had mistaken for ambition. So he rewrote it. Learn to cook his mom's recipes, hike the Grand Canyon, apologize to his sister for years of silence, volunteer once a month, host dinner for friends, no phones allowed, reconnect, slow down, be awake. It wasn't about having more anymore. It was about feeling more, living more, loving more. 6 months later, Marcus did something no one expected. He stepped down. He walked away from the title, the office, the applause. Not because he was done, but because he was ready. He started a nonprofit teaching financial literacy to teens, something he wished someone had taught him when he was young. It didn't pay nearly as much. It didn't come with fancy suits or catered boardroom lunches. But for the first time in years, he felt at peace. And that clock, it still ticked. But now, it reminded him to stay present, to savor, to act, to love. He didn't fear the passing time anymore. He honored it. Because Marcus learned what many people never do. Time isn't something you manage. It's something you spend once. And how you spend it is how you live. You don't need an old clock to wake you up. You already have one. It's in the quiet ache when you feel disconnected. It's in the pause before you fall asleep, wondering if you're on the right path. It's in the urge to reach out, to forgive, to say I love you, but then thinking, I'll do it tomorrow. The clock is always ticking. The question is, are you listening? Because one day, your time will run out. And on that day, the only thing that will matter is how you lived while the hands were still moving. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for a crisis to shake you awake. Choose to wake up. Choose to live now. How we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. Annie Dillard. Make sure you're living yours. Tick, tick, tick.